5 metres out the Reds. Geyer, long pass out to Timmy Horan, and he'll score for the Western Reds. So Timmy Horan, initially picked in the centres for the Western Reds. When Michael Potter pulled out of the side, he was moved to the wing. The cover defence wasn't quick enough to come across, and Timmy Horan has scored the try. Jeff Doyle was the one that made the good run.
They must put the man on the ground with the football.
Rodwell to Geyer. Flicks it out the back again to Rodwell, to David Boyd. Quick pass. They're through again. Gives it back inside to Boyd. Ryan's in support.
Great kick.
Very, very good option from David Boyd, and Chris Ryan scores the try for the Western Reds. David Boyd is having a whale of a game. Came into the side when Michael Potter went out, and David Boyd is having an absolute blinder. Gave the first pass, got it back, saw Chris Ryan and got the call. Gee, that's intelligent play.
Crashed into the ground. Tassel and McGaw there. Now Matty Fuller out of dummy half. Fuller on his own. Fuller will score. Matthew Fuller is in. His 8th try of the year. He's the happiest hooker in town as always. Across the line it comes now. Rodwell sends it away to Horan. The ball going across the line. Last tackle, says the referee. There's a chance here. It quickly comes away to Chris Ryan. Chris Ryan has got them. Ryan's away. Shut the gate. He's in next for the post. Fuller runs to the line. I don't think Doyle expected it that time. He wanted it first up when he had a head full of steam, but he's continued the movement through Grieve. It goes to Fuller. That looked a forward pass as it comes to Rodwell. Rodwell's got them. Rodwell's gone straight through. The pass comes back to Craig Innes, and Innes will score. The Reds are back in Memphis. He'll get up, and I thought he was going to play that forward for a fraction. The pass that's gone to nobody. They've got away with it here. They've got their numbers on the left-hand side. It comes to Fleming. Fleming looking back on the inside. This will be a try out of nothing. A mistake, and Chris Ryan has dashed away to score the try. I tell you what, Peter Mulholland will say that came straight out of the coaching manual with a very wry grin on his face. Almost a mistake on the last tackle. Fuller's ball, I'm not sure who it was intended for. Quick hands though, and look at this. This is beautiful football from a great player. Now way down the wing comes Chris Ryan in the end, and Ryan after that lovely bit of skill.
This game, defence from both teams has been excellent tonight.
And now the little chip and chase is on. Well, the first player that it was intended for didn't get there. Now it's still on. Barrett will get the bounce, and Barrett will score. What a great try. Super little kick from O'Neill. They got the first bounce. Barrett keeping a very cool head, just chipped it ahead. He was always going to get the bounce. He was always going to have the legs, and he scores the try. His first try in first grade with the Western Reds, and is that the game breaker? 12 points to 8 the scoreline with the kick to come.
Much better ball control by the Reds inside their own red zone.
Rodwell. The kick in behind the defence. Now here come the runners. The Reds are going to get there first. They've still got a chance. A little chip ahead again.
Rodwell.
It's going to be a try to Rodwell. Rodwell's regathered the kick and scored. What a great try to the Western Reds. He finds Rodwell. Rodwell the little kick. There was nobody at home really for the Raiders. Now beautifully picked up. Julian O'Neill gets the ball onto the left boot. Chips it back on the inside, and Rodwell's there to pick up the crumbs and score the try. Last tackle against the Reds. I'll come this side. Geyer decides to go on his own. Geyer puts up the bomb. It's in the field of play. Going high, Mullins has knocked it on, and the Reds have got it back, and there'll be 6 to go. Great football from Mark Geyer. Robbie Kearns, the dummy half, decides to go on his own and scores! Try to Robbie Kearns. Put it down to Mark Geyer though. Geyer put the kick up. He put the pressure on the Australian fullback. Mullins spilled it. Robbie Kearns has picked up the 4 points, and the Reds are back in front. But the skips are inspirational there. That's been towed through a race for the ball. This will be a try. It's a try. Luke Goodwin. What a try. Dare I say it, shades of his dad, but I tell you what, when I was a youngster watching big Mr. Goodwin play, that's the sort of thing that used to fill Cogger Oval.
They switch it. Rodwell goes to the air. Well, it's taken on the full by Paul Evans. Who's Evans going to go through? Yes, he is. The first try to the Western Reds. Well, that was just too easy.
Well, that was too lazy. That's what that was. Newcastle, the bomb going up in the air. Grogan elected not to go up for the ball to allow them to have it rather than risking giving 6 again. But if you're going to do that, you've got to wrap them up pretty smartly. And a lot of the inside defence from Newcastle didn't come across field. They just They just waited for the result of the kick.
Just could tell that was the worst possible start for them. They knew that the worst thing they could do was to give the Reds a bit of a start in this game and show them some interest, and that's exactly what they've done, and here they are again.
Well, there's a fine break coming down in midfield. They look inside and they'll run away. That's the second try for the Western Reds. Matthew Rodwell will run around and give it to his old team. So in the matter of around about 30 seconds, the Western Reds have gone to 12-0, or what will be 12-0, with a pretty easy kick to come from Julian O'Neill.
Well, you can't believe that. I mean, the Western Reds, I said before the game, their form has been good, and I was quite impressed with them a couple of weeks ago, but they've actually blown Newcastle out of the water here early. When you get down to a situation in a game, you're desperate to win, and you're conceding tries on the second or third tackle after a kick-off.
Bring it back. Perth working it towards their own halfway line. Chapman through. Has Wilson on his inside, gets the ball away. The pass was marginal. Wilson go further on, the ball was touched, and they'll score. Fleming again with the 4-pointer. Manda says it's all clear.
Well, hang on to your hat. Here come the Reds, ladies and gentlemen. A great try. Good work from Scotty Wilson. Damien Chapman made the initial break. They're back in this one. And there it goes to Fleming, touched by a Panthers player. So the Reds, hey, they're back in it.
Only 20 out, still a couple of tackles to go. Geyer, lovely pass to Rodwell. Rodwell over the top, and he looks for his winger, Edgar. Edgar's in. Eamon Edgar scores a try on debut. What a moment for him, the 21-year-old. Originally a Parramatta junior, and then signed because of his big potential. Finally gets his first great chance. Wilson's off. Support inside O'Neill. They will not catch him. And Masri going for him, but he's not going to get there. O'Neill runs 50 metres to score for the Perth Reds. Scotty Wilson started it. They have opened up Canterbury again. The famed rock-solid Bulldog defence has been opened up. Green hit hard by Darren Britt. There was some sting in that tackle. Wilson with a dummy, and away goes to Shields. Shields back inside to Rodwell. How fast is he? Got supporting Geyer. Geyer's 10 metres out. Geyer's galloping, and Geyer's over. There was a mountain of support there. It's just a question of who Rodwell wanted to pass it to when he realised he couldn't get there himself. There were 4 or 5 players, and look at Mark Geyer celebrate. He was the tallest, he had the longest arms, and his hands went up and grabbed onto that ball, and there was no way he wasn't going to be the one to go the last 20 metres to score. He wanted that try, Mark Geyer. 5 out. Still they go. Bell's close. Bell goes for the line. Stephen Clark awards the try that levels the scores. 4-all between the Perth Reds and North Queensland, but Perth have a kick to come. It'll be a pressure kick.
Well, it was on that far side, Warren. I mean, it just had to come. They had enormous amounts of possession. Gee, if they weren't going to score, they were in a bit of trouble winning some sort of support from friends, family, in particular coach on the night. They had to get them there. The Cowboys were just sheer exhausted.
So Perth have had plenty of opportunities and missed tackles. Canberra have fallen off 7 compared to the Reds 4. But the... Oh, intercept! Jared Miller in under the black dot. 12-4 becomes 12-8 with a kick to come. Well, you won't see that all that often. Ricky Stewart floating a pass out, giving the opposition a chance at an intercept.
He really set himself to Jared Miller, that's for sure. Out wide here.
Final tackle. Looking for the far touch. Not going to find it. And in the end, will it go over the dead ball line? No, it won't. Touch and go. The touch judge giving the signal rather. Now, Billy Harrigan wants to have a look at this. He's called the video replay into action for the first time. Here it is now.
Jason Williams here just leaving the ball. Does he get it down? I think that's a try.
It was Chris Ryan that caught them napping. Here's the decision. I think you'll find it 4 points. and that has sealed it surely. They bring up to 30. It's 31 points to 14 now. Try to Chris Ryan, caught them napping, and that's 6 tries to 1. Pretty comprehensive